Alpha, back for another Sunday is Gun Day. I know you're all excited. Another Sunday in isolation or quarantine or lockdown or whatever you want to call it, right? So what other exciting stuff do you have to look forward to today besides this video, right? But alright, so today's video, my AR-15. So I think I will actually do this. I think I'll do this similar to how I've done the box videos. Actually, I'm going to show it to you, tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm gonna do a little cleaning on it. But that way, if you guys don't want to stick around for cleaning, you don't have to. But if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Obviously, it's best both worlds. So this is my AR-15. It is, I guess you could say, half built by me. My one of my sons, the one that I was actually in the Marines, I had to get out. He planned on being a life. By having to get out, I mean he planned on being a lifer, and then because of marriage situation and having a kid and everything, he opted to get out. But he originally wanted to be a lifer. But anyway, when he got out, one of the things that he wanted to do was build an AR, and I thought, what a great thing to, do together. So we both went down to Cabela's and bought our stripped lower receiver. We then bought the lower parts kit, installed that, on each of ours together. This, the pistol grip, stock, and the accessories we have. But the uppers, so the part that we didn't actually build from scratch are the uppers. We both ordered. We actually ended up, oddly enough, we were shopping the same site and individually on our own ordered our own uppers, and we actually ended up buying the exact same upper. So it was an Anderson Arms stripped lower. Anderson Arms lower parts kit for trigger and all the internals. He got a different stock than I did. Both Magpul, but he opted for the desert tan or whatever they call it, coloring on his for his pistol grip, stock, mags, and the rubber guards on the upper. And then the uppers that we got were APF. I'm not sure what that actually stands for, but it was a brand that was available on the site that we were both looking at. And it's not the standard type upper. They're like what do I call them? is it M-lock? Something like that, you know. But unfortunately, I'll put the actual specs up here of the upper, if I can go find it, or, you know, the brand name and all of that stuff, because I can't remember off the top of my head everything about it. But, so, as you can see, I've got a scope up here. I originally put a red dot on here, and then my red dot ran out of batteries, and I didn't have a battery handy, so I had a cheap scope that I had picked up somewhere, I forget. Just a 4x32 here. Yeah, just a cheap scope I grabbed somewhere online when it was, like, it just happened to, you know, one of those point of purchase things they get you with ads saying, you know, do you want to add this onto your order, I think. So, anyway, I had it laying around, so since my red dot was dead, I stuck this on here. I opted for the diagonal, adding on the diagonal sights as well, 45s, so that, you know, I wasn't completely dependent on the scope. Obviously, I did this with the red dot on it, so, and the whole purpose of having the iron sights was to also, in case the red dot ran out of batteries while I was using it, I could still use the sights. So, but I opted for the 45-degree ones so that they wouldn't get in the way of other furniture on top, the scope or whatever on top. I've got a very cheap bipod on the front here, extremely cheap. I don't even know the brand of it, but it's one of those things online I saw for cheap again also, and decided, well, why not? It's better than no bipod. What else? One thing I do want to note, and you guys can comment whether this is common or not, but just lock the bolt in place. It's just a little demonstration. Charging handle. What was I saying? Oh, the mags. These are, I now only use P mags because now I do reload a lot, but, and I reload all of my 223 now. Right? I mean, I built up such a pile of reloaded 223 as I actually haven't had to make any more in a year or more now. But originally, when we bought these, you know, I'm a cheapskate, so, you know, hence the cheap bipod, the bipod, cheap scope. I bought these cheap magazines for it, and it was jamming the heads of the bullets down into the brass. And I mean, it was obviously jamming up the whole system, but when I, you know, take a look in there, basically it was jammed up, and it had jammed the bullet into the casing. It's obviously not good. So, I mean, fortunately, it didn't, you know, ever load it in and, you know, have a overpressure situation there. But, so I started examining to the store and examined, well, first of all, my son just initially got all PMags because he's he was in the Marines and they had PMags, and, some of my kids like to be brand name always. So he started with the PMags. So I was kind of examining the magazines, comparing one to the other, trying to figure out what's going on here. And then I went to the store and examined a couple other brands. And the thing, if you look at this, it's pretty much a rectangular on the top. Completely rectangular. Very little, there's nothing that's guiding the cartridge as it's getting loaded into the barrel, or into the ramp and then into the barrel. But if you look at the PMag, see how it's curved on the front here? This magazine is indeed somewhat guiding that cartridge towards the center of the barrel, basically. And I've figured out that makes all the difference in the world as far as jams. So, if you ever have any problems like that, or have had problems like that, let me know, for one. And two, if you're not already using PMags and are having that issue, switch to PMags. Obviously, pretty much the later the generation, the better, because they slightly modify each one to be. There is a difference between a PMag, PMag 2. I think these are 2s. My son, I think, has 3s. And I did, there's even a little bit more curvature to those, I think. So, what else can I tell you about this? Not a whole lot. It's got a muzzle brake on it. I do remember that it is a heavy barrel. I want to say, is it 20? I think it might be somewhere between, it's like 20 and 22 maybe, something like that. Barrel length, again, if I can find the exact details, again, I'll put them up here on the video for you. But that's it. So, I mean, obviously, I'm sure most of you have seen an AR, but this was, basically a project for me and my son about, 3 years ago now. And I'm looking to build an AR-10, I think. In fact, I plan on building a Ghost AR-10 when I do it. So, completely unregistered. Just because I can. Not that I have to. I could go down and buy a lower and build it like I did this one. But this time, I'm actually going to, one, it's going to be an AR-10. Two, it's going to be a Ghost AR-10. I'm going to get an 80% lower and mill it out. And don't worry, I'll make videos on all of that. And three, I think I'm actually going to build my upper completely too. Like, I'll order all the parts, and instead of buying a completely put together upper, I kind of want to experience building an upper too. So, there you go. That's my AR-10. So, if you guys want to tune out, that don't want to just watch me clean the gun, that's fine. If you're not familiar with ARs and want to see how that's done, then by all means, stick around. Alright, so let's start. I'll pull out the mag here. I think, what do I want to do here? I do want to slam it forward. Oh, by the way, I didn't get a special one, but the dust cover here. My son got it. You can get ones that say different things customized, and he got a customized one. I can't actually remember what it says now, but I thought that was pretty cool. You can customize the dust cover. Of course, you can customize the entire gun, but all right. So we are going to pop out the retention pin. There we go. All right. So I'll actually think I'll pop out both retention pins. So if you're not familiar, 2 retention pins. That's why, you know, you can just buy an upper by itself and put it on any lower, and you magically have a whole nother gun. In fact, at some point I'll do that as well. I want to get a couple different caliber uppers for my AR, and probably will do the same thing when I build an AR-10. So again, I just have the Anderson Arms standard internal parts kit. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there, by the way, on how to do that. I'll get my cleaning kits, cleaning stuff ready here. There's really not anything down here that you really need to clean. You do, however, want to make sure that it is always well oiled. I actually got this in one of our kits, I think the Man Can kit, which, by the way, that's the other one of the boxes that's coming, the one that we've already seen. Is this something? So I'm just gonna, this is lube, so I am just going to stick a few drops in here and work the system a little bit. That's why. Just work it. Actually, I'll stick a couple more drips down in there. I think it's been a couple times since I lubed up the trigger, because usually I'm worried about more about the bolt. And I mean, really, for the lower, unless you want to get you know, make it nice and shiny all the time. I mean, that's really the lower. That is the main piece you have to worry about, is the trigger. And sometimes when you put a little too much on, it will drift down, but that's okay. One thing I've heard about ARs is they're not a whole very picky on too much lube, so feel free to, in fact, it's better to lube them more than not enough, but they're pretty resilient, so they, can handle actually going, pretty dry too, but you don't technically want to run them too dry, want to run them dry. But if you happen to do it in the special need, they're pretty tolerable of that, I'm told. I try and keep mine, especially the bolt and everything, lubed up really good. When I lube it up when I clean it, and even though I lubed it up when I cleaned it, I still usually add some lube when I go shoot it. So, alright, so now to the upper. There we go. Don't know what was getting stuck on there, but so then you have this is charging handle, if you're not familiar. And we have obviously the whole entire upper minus the bolt carrier group here. Nothing too special here. I'm trying to remember. I know I didn't clean this the last time I went out, but I'm trying to decide. Let's see. See if I can. It can be a pain in the butt, but we'll take it apart, I guess. So, this clip right here is what's holding this all in. So, I guess we will pop that out for you. This file set. Did I bring up the screen? Oh, this is supposed to have scrapers in it, so. Let's see if we can pull, if this pulls it out. Yeah, okay. And it's just a cotter pin. Alright, so after we get the pin out, then this is the actual firing pin. Pull that out of there. Drop it out. And then, at that point, you can turn this little rectangular piece right here sideways and pop that out. And then pull the entire thing out. And fortunately, yeah, like I said, I didn't clean this after I went out the last time, but we did not also shoot it a whole lot because I was focused on the 30-30, honestly, and getting that sighted in when we went last with our ARs. So it's not too bad. It is dirty. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but let us, here, let me stick this down. And then, I might as well stick the charging handle in there too. Spray it all down. Okay. And then, let's see what we will... Take a brush and brush it off first. Get most of it off that way. Okay, let's see. So I'm using the new cleaning kit, by the way, that we also got in the man can. Let's see. Okay. Wipe off the outside here of this. Alright. That's what that is for. Probably, anyway. Swap them around. Do it again. Alright. And, by the way, I mean, I've heard of people not cleaning the ARs, but once a year, because they are, intended for a little bit harder application than most guns. So some people, besides lubing them up, don't even bother doing all of this, except, which, I mean, I'll be honest, for me it's getting close to a year, if not more. But I do like to clean it pretty much every time I go, unless I plan on going, for sure, like, if I was going to go this weekend and next weekend, I might not clean it in between, but for the amount of rounds that, normally go through it, so. Where did that pick go? There it is. So what kind of ARs do you guys got? Do you have, I know most people just, pick them up as is. Not everybody goes and builds one, or even half of one. And do any of you guys have any AR-10s, and if you do, has anybody ever done the 80% lowers? That I really enjoys somebody's input that's already done it before, if you have. Open up. I don't think that's going to be any better. Guess I'll just stick with this brush here. So, if you have, let me know. Let me know what your experience has been with either building AR-10 or doing the 80% lowers or anything else you want to talk about. Heck, I don't care. We can talk about anything you want. I'm sure everybody else is getting feeling a little cooped up with this shutdown. That looks pretty nice. Pretty clean, pretty clean. Here is the real one that gets the dirtiest. It's right in here. That stuff is gets caked on there pretty good. And that's pretty much probably if I was not going to do anything else on an AR, that's probably where I would go and clean, because that's where it just gets really caked up there if you're not familiar or don't have an AR. And again, most people would consider this much cleaning, that is taking it all the way apart with taking the bolt apart too. Probably more of a not every time cleaning. Most of the time they're gonna just clean what they can without taking the bolt apart and keep using it. From what I've found people saying online. So, this is really, like I said, the most intense piece here. Just where all the carbon builds up. Alright, so now it's probably as good as we're going to get it. Eventually I want to actually get a sonic cleaner where I could just drop it in there and it remove everything sonically through sonic waves. Alright, that's it now. It'll, unfortunately, I sometimes tend to be a little bit more perfectionist or OCD than most people, but ultimately I know that part's never going to get truly good clean. Here I am again. Here. Okay, that's enough. Let's not get carried away here. If we get too OCD about this, then it could be here forever. But I do want to get a sonic cleaner eventually, because you could just drop it in. They come out sparkling shiny silver. At least that's what the people seem to indicate by using those sonic cleaners. But eventually I want to get one, see if that's actually the case, because that'd make this a whole lot easier. You basically pop open the gun, open that up, stick it in there, and leave it for a little while and put it back together, huh? So, now comes the tricky part. We still have to clean the barrel here, but before we do that, let's stick this back together. So, kind of just do the reverse, right? So, stuck this back in here. Then we put this piece with the rectangle head back in there. And then you turn the rectangle head 90 degrees, so it's, perpendicular to what it was that you stuck it in. Stick the firing pin back down the middle. And then comes this difficult part. Now, not everybody's going to have the same difficulty here, but this is a cotter pin. You see how it, it's not all the way together, not pinched together at the end. That makes this a little more difficult every time I've done it before. I'm hoping to have a better time this time, but what happens is on the opposite side, it gets stuck on the inside of the metal, not wanting to come through the hole. So, let me know if you have that problem too, because this is always the biggest pain in the butt that I have to deal with when doing this. Aha! Got it finally. So, now that is all the way back in there. which then retains the firing pin and retains the rest of this all in back in working order. So set that aside for a second, and then what we're going to need to do again, this is brand new cleaning kit, so I'm not sure what's all in it, but first of all, I guess this is the oil. I gotta grab my other cleaner somewhere at some point, but we'll just make do with what we got for now. And I usually like to try and get it from both sides if possible. And let's put some in here. Just yeah, and next time I clean, I'm gonna have to find my other bottle of Hobbs. Alright, so this is, of course, Q23. And what we'll do is we'll run it through a couple of times. Put it down on the gun here, or the ground here. Oh. I usually like to do 2-3 times. I mean, since I didn't shoot it too much, probably a couple times is enough, so this time, but okay. And actually use, oh, but it won't fit that way. Okay, and we'll stick the, again, this is the first time I've used this kit. I used to, my other one has a push rod, so this is a pull method instead of a push method, it looks like, because I don't have enough rod here to go. But that's fine. That is perfectly fine. Okay. So, that's good. Now, we will, where's my brush? Brush the inside of this, down a little bit. Looks like we lost the other camera, so that's all right. Brush the feed ramps. And then we will let me use piece of paper towel to stick down in there. Whoops. Okay. Oh, by the way, yeah, we need to, before we stick this in anywhere, we'll lube it up good. And hold down here. And we'll work that in a little bit. Actually, stick some down in here. Where does it open? There we go. Alright, so now stick this back. Okay, so now we need to put the charging handle bolt back in. So charging handle first, you stick it in there. There's probably a little groove that will hold it in one spot there. You'll be able to see if you look inside. Bolt goes in this way. Gotta make sure this end part is pulled all the way out. And then you slide them in together. Just like that. And then move this out of the way. We take our lower, pop it back up in. Put this, usually stick the first one, front one on first, then fold it down, pop the other one in, and voila. Now, no mag, that's probably why. There we go. Now it locks back. Gots to have the mag. Gots to have the mag in. Alright. There you go. Sorry this took so long. I'm sure I'm going to be cutting pieces out of it for you so it's not so long. But that was Sunday's gun day. I'll have to get more creative next week. But I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Stay safe. Stay away from the coronis. And this is Big Bappa out.